One, great to see everyone, and good to see everyone and coming in, getting set it up here. Forgive me, y'all, running behind a little bit. That's life, right? But good to see everyone coming in, and I'm going to get set up with everything here. So, how's everybody going? How's everyone going? How's everything going? Well, I'm getting set up here. We're going to talk about strings. We're going to talk about changing strings, you all. And I'm getting set up here, running behind. Life situations happen. But good to see everyone in. Good to see everyone here. Great to see everyone coming in this afternoon or this evening if you're watching the replay. But we're here. We are here. We are here. So I hope you can hear me very well now that I've got my mic set up. So before we get started, right? Well, if you're new here, welcome to the channel. Thank you for coming in this evening. But we're going to be talking about why change your strings, right? Why do you change your strings? Um, when you're thinking about something like that, why do you change it? Um, why is it necessary? This is what we're going to be talking about today. So, we're going to be changing some strings on two bases. Well, I think I'm gonna do one today. My time is limited. I have some other things. I got to get ready for church tomorrow. So what we're gonna do is, um, I wanted to also show you some of the new bases that I have. Okay, I have some new bases, and they are phenomenal, right? So let me show you my newest one, right? Which is this is the Roscoe LG 3005. All right. Do not ask me what year it was built. I don't know yet. I got to figure that out. But I got this on a trade. Those of you that have been following, y'all, I used to play an MG bass. And so I traded this bass for this. I traded the MG bass for this bass. All right. This is an amazing bass. It is a 35 scale. All right. This is an I'm going to do a separate video on the specs on this, but look how beautiful the wood is. Look how beautiful the wood is. Look at this. Look at the back of it. It's a redwood top. It is a mahogany body. I think a 3-band preamp. It's all active. No, it's not. It's no passive on it. So before I change the strings, I want you to see how it sounds. All right. I'm gonna allow you to see how it sounds right quick. Okay? So I'm gonna be playing through a Fender amp, and I'm gonna get set up here. Alright, so this thing sounds, listen to the tone on this bass. Alright, so this is a back pickup. Wow, look at and this is a 35 scale, so listen to the B on it. So this is the Roscoe, right? And I'm just, all right, that classic Roscoe sound. This bass was one of my favorites, and what I love about this bass is that this is an 18 millimeter, right? 18 millimeter, and this fits perfectly for when I'm playing. So comfortable to play. got a low B. And the thing about it is, y'all, I have the mid off. Now, if I start boosting the mid, if I turn, so if I cut the mid back, what? Got a nice slap. You see what I'm saying? So, I'm gonna do a separate video on this bass, but this is not what we're gonna be changing tonight. The strings. We're not gonna be changing the strings for this bass tonight. Okay. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna be changing um, the strings for another bass that I just got. I got it at a good deal, y'all. I mean, a super low deal. Okay. I have this Fender Player Plus. Look at this thing here. I got this thing on a super low, like on the low, right? Look how pretty this thing is. Mint condition. Um, it's pretty much brand new, almost brand new. Except the pick guard, you can tell it's been. Well, I've been playing on it, so look at this. This is what we're going to be changing tonight. We're going to be changing the strings, and so the strings that we're going to be putting on this bass is going to be some Mark bass strings. All right, these are the Groove series. I really like these strings, and so because I like them, I'm going to put them on. All right. So now what we're going to do, we're going to lay the bass down. All right. So before we get started, while I'm taking these strings off, I'm loosening them up. I want to talk about why is it necessary for you to change your strings, right? So when someone is listening to you playing your instrument, everything that's coming out that instrument is the results of what you do and how you maintain the instrument. Sometimes, a lot of the times, if you have old strings, your sound is not going to be consistent. It's going to be very muddy. It's going to sound gritty. It's not going to be clear in the mix, right? And so when it comes to recordings or when it comes to you playing live and someone is recording you, what are you how are you sounding to someone else's ears? Are they going to be attracted to you and how you're sounding on your instrument and how your bass is sounding? So number 1, you have to have consistency in your sound. If you're going to have consistency in your sound, then you have to consistently change your strings and change your battery. First tips that you want to have, okay, that you want to do is that when you change your strings, and listen, y'all, if you change your strings, this is what I do. For me, this is what I do. When I change my strings, I also change my batteries, okay? And I use and that way I will never run into a place to where my batteries is going dead, okay? And I have to go and look for a battery, okay? So as I'm taking this a look, so number 1, you want to have consistency in your sound, okay? Your consistency is what is going to allow you to level up your sound in playing and your bass playing, but also it's going to level up how you sound professionally. If you ever notice, every record that you hear, the bass sounds so good. Why? Because there is some consistency in maintaining that instrument. Some of my favorite bass players that I listen to, that I follow, right? They have a consistent sound, and one of the things that I guarantee you they do is that they change their strings. They use a certain type of string to get a certain type of tone. Okay, so this is how I do it, y'all. When I'm changing my strings, I'm gonna tighten everything. Okay, I untighten everything. And why do I do that? It's so that I can get the string off the bass, right? Number 1, I tune. Let me tell you something else I do. I tune a whole step down. I tune in A. Okay. So the first thing you want to do is you want to take all the strings off the bass, okay? As I'm loosening these strings, right? Oh, y'all give me a minute. I forgot to do something. I forgot to get my cloth to wipe down and my. I'll be right back. All right, I am back. I am back. Sorry about that. I forgot my cloth. I thought I was set up, y'all. Forgive me. Please don't charge it to my head. I thought I was set up. All right. So the first thing you want to do. This is what I use on my fretboard. Okay. I use this on my fretboard. This thing right here is called Kaiser lemon oil. All right. This really helps your fretboard. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to untighten the strings, and I'm gonna take all the strings off. Okay. So when you're taking off the strings, okay, when you're taking off the strings, just pull them that way, making sure they're off. All right. Once you do that, go down to the bottom here, which looks like this, and you just pull this out. See that? And you want to be careful pulling this out, okay? Because you don't want to scratch your paint up or anything, all right? So you want to pull this out and keep pulling slowly. Pull it out until you get to the end, okay? All right. So I got that one out, okay? Let me lay this back down. All right, that one's out, so I'm gonna keep untightening. Usually, depends. I usually spend about maybe if I'm watching TV, y'all. If I'm watching one of my favorite shows or I'm watching something on TV when I'm changing strings, usually I like to do that. Usually I like to take the time to do maintenance on it and to wipe it down, to check the pickups. So I'm pulling this string out here. So while we're talking, while we're doing this, all right, strings, another point that you want to know about strings is that your strings um, helps your playability to become more easier, right? It makes you it allows you to develop your sound to where you can produce something that sounds amazing. But if you don't have the right type of strings, a string could be a make or break, right? Especially it depends on what type of genre of music you're playing, right? It could be a make or break. All right? Remember that. The strings can make or break you. All right? It can make your sound or it can break your sound. And it can cause frustration on engineers and sound guys who are trying to produce a sound on a concert. Why? Because your strings are bad. Not all cases. In some cases, in some genres, some strings are old strings are good to go. But for in my situations and where I play at, the sound guys they look for a consistency of sound. When I plug my bass up, they want to hear that consistent sound, that good sound to where it doesn't take them long to mix. Okay? You always want to remember that In order for you to have consistency in your sound, you have to change your strings. If you have to, it is a necessity. Number one, it's also part. And number two, let me say this too. Also, another tip: it is part of you maintaining your instrument. If you have old dirty strings, they can get corroded, and what can happen? Your fretboard can start messing up. Your fretboard can start messing up. You can start having issues with your frets because your strings are so old and they're corroded. So maintaining your instrument is a necessity for you to continue to play it. That is the key. If you don't maintain your instrument, then you won't have no consistent. Then it will not last you as long as it could be. All right. So I'm taking these off, and this is what I do with my strings. Once I take them off, that's how I do it. All right. And the reason why I'm doing this is because I got another tip for y'all, just in case you don't want to buy any strings. All right. We're gonna talk about that later, so stay tuned. Don't go away. We're gonna talk about that. This can help some of you all. All right. It's a little secret that I do. All right. It's not really a secret, but it's something that helps me. Okay. So we're taking that, getting that done. Ah, you don't want to act right today, huh? Good thing I got a 5 string. I used to own a 6 string, and man, it's a little bit different changing 6 strings than 5. All right, so we got that strings off. Got those strings off. We're gonna keep going here. Okay. So while we're taking that string off, I want y'all to think about this too. Also, what do y'all think about these new instruments coming out this year? What do you think about um, the Fender? Well, you know what? We'll talk about that later. That's another subject. So again, I'm taking these strings off, doing it just like this. I'm keeping them in a circle just in case I need to use them again, right? But in this case, I probably won't use them again. Okay, we're at the last string, the 5th string. Let's go. So again, y'all, those are just coming in. This is what I'm doing is I am changing strings on a Player Plus. Okay, this is a Fender Player Plus. Here it is right here. All right, we're changing the strings on it. We're doing that. And if you're new to the channel, welcome to Know Your Sound. I'm your host, Stephen Powell. And I am here changing my strings. It is essential. It is necessary, y'all, to change your strings. I'm going to tell you this story, right? I had this guy come in Guitar Center one day, and he had a 5 string, but he had 4 strings on his bass. And he went to the tech at Guitar Center. He says, "Hey man, how much does it cost to get my strings changed?" And I was like, "Well, you're gonna have to buy a new pack because you only got 4 on there." And he says, "Well, I only need 1 more string." He was like, "No, you have to buy a whole pack." Think about this, y'all. When I looked at the bass, the strings were dead. It looked like you could probably catch something deadly, right? If you touched them. That's how old they were. That's how old these strings were. It's crazy. So I told him, I said, "Hey man, when the last time?" He said, "I've never changed these strings since I owned the bass." Whew. So can you imagine how old those strings were, how dirty it was, how much bacteria was on that them strings, how his fretboard was. Can you imagine that? All right. So now we got everything off the fretboard. Okay. Now, look at this. It's naked. No strings on there. All right. So, one of the things that you want to check while you're changing your strings is check to see if your pickup height is okay. All right. Most of the time, I try to make sure that my pickup height and my pickups are even. All right. That's what I check. Also, what you want to do is you want to take this oil, this lemon oil, right here. You can go to any, you can order on Amazon. You can go to Guitar Center. Any music store probably has it. What you want to do is shake it up. You want to get you a little soft towel. It can be something like this towel here. You can spray it on there. Spray it. And this is what you do. Uh-oh. You start wiping down the fretboard. Why are you wiping down? Why are you taking the fretboard and you're cleaning it? Because, y'all, look how much grime and dirt on your fingers come from you playing. All right? One more time. We're going to wipe it. Spray it. Remember, y'all, this is lemon oil. You can get this at any Guitar Center. Once you spray it, take it, and you wipe it just like that. Okay? Look at that. Now, I want you to look at this. Uh-oh. Lemon oil fell. So, I don't know if the camera can pick it up, but look how shiny that is. Look how clean that is. Once you put a fresh strings on there, it's going to sound amazing. What you're doing is you're seasoning the fretboard, right? You're seasoning the fretboard so that when the wood, when it soaks it in, it's going to have a fresh sound on it. Okay, that's what the oil does. It keeps the wood seasoned. It keeps the wood from drying out. This is why you should do this like all the time when you're changing your strings. Another thing that I recommend also, okay, when you're changing your strings, you also want to make sure your frets are okay. You could take them. Look here. Here you go. When you're looking at your frets, you want to feel down on here to make sure that there's no sharp edges on here. Okay, that they're all level. This is how you maintain your instrument. Then you want to take the cloth and start wiping your instrument down. Have you ever heard an instrument where it sounds like it's static when the controls are turning? And that's because it gets dust in it. All right, so you want to wipe your instrument down, wiping it down, because this is your pride and joy. This is something that I do. I just wipe. I like to see it clean, y'all. I like to have a clean instrument. Okay. So number one, here we go back. Number one, the reason why you want to change your strings, and the reason why it's a necessity, because you want to have a consistency sound in how you're playing. Number two, you want to make sure that you have a consistency maintaining your instrument. Maintaining your instrument is going to give you a consistency in your sound. Number three, you want to create long longevity in your instrument by maintaining it. If you own a car, it's the same way, right? If you own a car, you got to do maintenance on it. Same thing with your instrument. You have to make sure you wipe it down. You have to make sure that you change the strings, because this is how you can level up your sound. Some people are wondering why they can't get a certain sound. Well, if they never change their strings or they never try anything different, then they won't know. All right. So now that we have it wiped down, we wipe the fretboard down. Now it's time to put on the new strings. All right. So this is a 130 gauge to 45. All right. Usually Sometimes it depends. I like to use a 125, but in this case, I can use a 130. It's okay. So now you have a 130 to 45. Now this sound right here is going to give you, um, because you got a lower string and you got a heavier string, you're gonna have a little bit more bottom. When you go with the 125, you're gonna still have bottom, but it's gonna be a brighter sound on the low B, right? So the difference of between a 125 and a 130 is that one is heavier and one is lighter. All right. If you're ever buying strings and you're playing a 5 string, if you see the top gauge here says 130 to 45, right? That means you're gonna have a heavier string on the low B, okay, on the lowest string, which is your lowest string, okay? But your top string is gonna be 45. Now, there are certain cases where you can get. I've played some strings that went down to a 135 and up to a 150. Actually, you can go online and go to Strings Joy, I think it is, where you can get your custom strings, where you can get different gauges. I did that before, and it was okay. But I like to have consistency, so most of the time I like to have a 125 or 130. It just depends. But today I'm gonna do 130 because basically these were the only ones that, and the Elixirs were the only ones that had a Guitar Center that I like. Let me tell y'all something. My Guitar Center here, it is not. Let me say this. They're okay. Let me just say that. There's a lot of stuff that could improve in that the guitar's hardening where I'm at. So, got these brand new strings. Look at this. You're gonna make sure you unwound them, all right? Because you got to take them apart. Look at these brand new strings. Look at all this. So now, the first thing you want to do, change your strings. You want to look on the back right here on the directions, and it's going to tell you your gauges and which string which string goes on each post. All right. So for instance, right, they're color coded. So the low B is, you got to go to the bottom of the string. The low B is, I usually know the low B. It's blue. Let's check. Yep, it is blue. This is the heaviest string on there. All right. So what I do now is I take this, okay, all right, y'all can see here, take this and go through the bottom, and you start pulling it through. Now sometimes with low B strings, you're gonna have to do a little work because they get because it's a higher gauge. You're gonna have to push it through a little bit, okay? So you have to put a little muscle in there, push it a little bit. Just try to push it in there to go through, so it can fit. But it will fit. All right. You gotta take your time. There we go. All right. Okay, come on. Get it through. There we go. All right, so now you got it through. One thing you want to look at, I want to hit that fan up there. One thing you want to look at, y'all, is that you want to make sure that when you're putting on the string, that you go across this crest right here. Because you don't want to tighten it up and it's not on that. And you start setting it up and cut it, and then you got to go and get another string. All right, I've did that before, y'all. All right, so now what I'm doing is, okay, what I'm doing is, uh-oh, I hit my mic. What I'm doing is I am taking this here, putting it on the bass, And what I do here is that for me, this is what I do. I count up two headstocks, okay? One, two, and in the middle, right, I cut. Why? I want to give myself enough room to where my string can breathe. You don't want to cut it too short to where you don't have some room for it to breathe, all right? That's just me. So right here, let me pull it up again. Right here, I'm going to cut right here in the middle. All right? Some people like it more, but that's where I cut at. That gives me enough room for me to cut. For me to have a little bit of wind on there. All right, so now I'm going to cut it. And this is what I use, y'all. You can find these at any guitar center, any music store. What this thing is, you can wind it up. This is a headstock winder or a tuner. So when you put it on the top of the tuner here, and you just do it just like this, and you start winding. Okay. All right. Let's cut this string. Let's cut this string. So again, if you're just coming in, this is a Fender. We're changing strings, and we're talking about why it's a necessity to change your strings. We talked about consistency of sound. We talked about maintaining the sound of the instrument by changing your strings and changing your battery. We also talked about how changing your strings gives you longevity on your instrument. Okay, that's what we talked about. So here we go. All right. So what I'm doing is, here we go. What I'm doing is I'm putting this in the string, and I'm gonna start winding it. Okay. Just you start turning it. Okay. See this? Start turning. And it's this simple. Now, if you go to Guitar Center or somewhere music store, most of the time for a string change and a setup, you're gonna pay about 60 to 70 something dollars, sometimes more, if they have to do more. So if you learn how to do this yourself, look how much money you can save by learning how to do it yourself. Now, when it comes to doing a setup, oh, that's a different animal. Okay? That is a different animal because a setup can also if you don't have a good setup, that can really ruin your sound. All right? If you don't have a good setup, if you can't play comfortably, it could ruin your sound. Okay? Here we go. It's coming through. It's coming through. Here comes the strings. Here we go. Just keep going here. Here we go. We're changing them. We rounded it up. All right. So you want to make sure it's tight on there. You got something. I'm not going to tune it up right now. All right. Okay. So now we got that string on. Let's check the next string. Okay. We got the E string. On the package, it says the color is red. This reminds me of a child thing, right? It's red, right? So it's red here. We're matching it up. This is the string. Most of the time, I know the gauges though because I've been doing this so long. So this is the E string, just like the B string. You want to string it through the body. String it in the back. Okay, just like the B string. You want to take it here and you're going to have it go through. Okay. Uh-oh. I might need some assistance on here because this string, where's my, I got to get the tip up. Pause. Some of y'all dirty minds. right? Um, I'm not talking about that tip, y'all. Calm yourselves down. All right, so I gotta string this tip up here to make sure. Pause to make sure um, I can get it strung on the top. Okay, I have to lose some assistance here, y'all. Give me a second. Sometimes this happens with strings like this because you gotta. Oh, come on, get up there. Okay. All right, y'all. See if we can get her up here. Come on. Let's go. You're not standing there. That's not your job. Okay, let's see if I can bring it here. And this is a frustration sometimes. Where is my screwdriver? I don't have my other one, my flat head. Give me, y'all. Oh, there we should be able to do it with this one right here. Oh, by the way, y'all, while you're looking, these are a great investment. Thanks to Ibanez, which I don't have anymore, but I did buy this one at Guitar Center. All right, these are tools that you can do that you can use to set up your bass. They have screwdrivers on there. They have different Allen wrenches on there. Look at that. I got this one from Ibanez when I had an Ibanez, which I don't own anymore. It is gone to a good owner. All right, so what we're gonna do is I'm gonna try to bring the string up right here. You know what I'm gonna do? I might have to bend it a little bit. Yeah, there we go. I could bend it that way. There we go. Let's see if it works. Yep. Okay, got it through, y'all. Had a new method. All right, we're taking the string through, just like we did the other one. Okay. So look, it's in there. Now it's time to get this thing put through. Okay. There we are. Okay, just like the lowest string we did, right? The same concept, same consistency, right? You want to have consistency. So I'm going to count 1, 2, 3. All right. So halfway from the actual cut from where I'm going to put the string at, I'm going to go one up and then I'm going to cut it halfway. Okay. That's just how I do it. I'm not saying you have to do it that way. That's just how I do it. Okay. Some people do it a different way. I do it that way to give me some string room. All right. Some room on the string. All right. So now we're going to put it in. And we're going to start turning. Now notice something here. I have string trees on this bass, right? You see? I have string trees on this bass, okay? So as I'm turning, I got to make sure it goes under this string tree, okay? You want to make sure you do that. So while we're doing this is what we're going to talk about. I want y'all to comment, if you just listen to the replay, what bass are you playing now? Number one, where are you watching from? Number two, what bass are you playing? And are you getting a new bass, right? Are you getting a custom one? Are you getting a custom bass made? Are you looking to get the newest Fender Ultra or Fender Jazz, or are you looking to get those basses? Comment below. Also, y'all, do y'all know this? Let me say this too. This is the old Player Plus, right? Guess what's happening this year? They're already bringing out the new Player Plus. And on the new Player Plus, guess what's going to have on it? A passive tone control. Remember, on this Player Plus that I have now, you don't have a passive tone control. On the new Player Plus that's coming out, you're going to have a passive tone. So basically what Fender did, and what in my opinion, is that they took the preamp out of the Ultra, the Ultra One, and just moved it over to the Player Plus. That's my opinion. The Player Plus got the old habit, got all the old stuff um from the Ultra One. All right, that string is in there. Let's go. Let's go. Two down, two more to go, three to go. All right. So now we're starting on the A string. I mean the G. Yeah, the A string. Yep. Here we go. Starting on the A string. Oh, come on. You got to work for me this time. Okay, y'all, we're having a problem. Okay, there we go. All right, we got it. Okay, so now we got the A string. It's coming through. It's thinner. It's not gonna take us as long. So now, just like we did these two strings, this one's gonna go up here, right? It's gonna go up here. Okay. Once you do that, we're gonna count up two, and then halfway at the halfway point of the two, that's where you're gonna cut it. So story time, y'all. And this is a true story. Right? Recently, yesterday actually, I went and played a new bass that just came out. This is a really nice bass, by the way, y'all. I played the new Tobias's that came out. I played one yesterday. And when I saw it, it looked amazing. It looked beautiful, right? But here's the thing that really ruined the whole thing. When I started to play the bass, number one, I turned the bass on and I went to turn the knobs to put everything flat on the preamp. And the mid-range knob cut off the whole preamp. So two things because of my experience, especially with this, when I heard that, I said there's something wrong with the preamp. There's something interfering to where it will not work. So as long as when I started to turn it flat, it would cut the whole preamp off. But when I turned it off, the preamp would stay on. So the disappointment was I never got a chance. The bass looked amazing, but the preamp was not functioning properly. So, but in my opinion, I don't think, I don't think, I don't really think that bass is worth $2,200. Just in my opinion, I really don't. I think it's very overrated. In my opinion, that's just me, y'all. You might feel some way different. You might think it's worth $2,200. Me, no, sir. With that money, you can buy you a new Ultra. You can get a custom bass made these days. There's many custom basses that you can get made or get one started getting made with $2,200. Okay, so while we're on that subject about custom basses, okay, while we're on that subject about custom basses, here's a tip for y'all too. When you're starting to look for buying a bass, the first thing you want to know is what type of woods you want, what type of combination pickups you want to have, what style of play, what kind of style of, what genre of style of play that you play, how much what the bass weighs. All that comes in when you're buying a bass, right? So if just like this bass here, this is a Fender Jazz bass, right? This bass usually weighs. It's an alder body, right? Maple neck. So this is going to have a lot of growl, a lot of punch, a lot of highs because of the maple neck. But the alder gets also what gives it a lot of bottom. Okay, so because Fender knows this, because Fender understands that alder and their preamp and pickups that they put together makes their sound, they're gonna keep continue to make that bass. Some people can't play a Fender because they're like, hey man, it's not my sounds, right? So my point is this: when you're looking for a custom bass, or when you're looking for a production bass, however you want to do it, you have to know which woods and combination matches up for your desire and what you want to hear out of that bass. There's too many people on Reverb and eBay selling new MTDs, selling new Tobiases, selling new Roscoe's, selling new basses that they just bought. And I believe the reason why that happens is because they get the bass and they really didn't choose the woods to match for what the sound they were expecting to get. They heard another bass player play it and they say, "Oh man, I want that bass," and so they order it just like that, never understanding how essential you knowing the wood combinations and the pickup combinations to where that person gets that sound. Also, another thing, the tone of that bass is just an icing on the cake. Tone really comes from your fingers. Let me say that again. The way the bass sounds is just the icing on the cake. True tone comes from these five fingers here, these fingers here. If you don't have tone, if you don't have tone, then any bass you buy or pick up will still sound the same and will not satisfy you because you have not spent time understanding your tone. All right. This channel is really about encouraging everyone to know your sound. This is why it's called Know Your Sound, because you want to produce what the sound that's what's in you. And how you find that out is by you taking time out to spend time with this instrument here. And you will start to develop it. But your sound also comes from, again, y'all, consistency of you taking care of the instrument. You don't want to have an instrument that you paid so much money for and it doesn't have any longevity. All right, we're about to put this next string in. Here we go. It's coming in. She's coming in hot. Coming in hot. I'm so corny, y'all. I'm so corny. I'm very corny. For real, for real. All right, so we're putting these strings on here. Okay? Putting these strings on. Looking pretty good already. Everything's balancing out. All right? We got one more string. We're the same concept, right? But on this string here, this string right here, usually this is what I do. I start here and I'll just cut the ends off on the string right here, the small ends, because this D string can come up short if you cut too short. All right, you don't want to do that. So for me, I leave as much room as possible on the D string. And the reason why is because it's the longest part of the headstock, and also you got to reach all the way up. So I want to give as much room. See? I'm hitting my mic again. Look at this. So I only cut. Where's it? Where's the piece of it? So I cut this small. I left everything on the string except this small piece right here. And the reason why I do that is so that I can have um, some room so that the constraint can you know make sure that it's long enough to where it has tension. Okay, you want to make sure you have it long enough to where it has tension. If you cut it too short, you're not going to have tension, and what's going to happen is the string is going to end up breaking because you don't have enough room to create tension on the string. Tension is important, Law. Right here, your tension on your string is important because if you don't have enough room, it's not gonna. You're gonna end up popping the string, and you're gonna have to get some more strings. Okay. All right. So make sure when you're changing these strings, you leave enough room to where it has tension. You don't want to cut it too short. Some people cut it shorter than what I do, but in my situation, I like to leave more. I like to have more and don't need it than have less and need it. Okay, that's my concept. That's my theory on changing strings. I like to have more and don't need it than have less and need it. I'm not talking to you serious. Hey, stop. Boy, these. Oh my gosh. Siri don't mind her business, y'all. Siri is not minding her business. I ain't said nothing to that phone. All right, so we got one more string to go. Let's go, y'all. One more, all right? Let me see these comments here. All right. Uh-oh, changing my. No, I don't want a green screen. Uh, all right, here we go. Okay, I'm back, y'all. Sorry about that. Okay, so now we're putting on the last string. Let's go, let's go, let's go. We're putting on the last string. And then we're going to see how she sounds. That's the important part. We're going to see, we're going to tune her up and see how she sounds with these new strings on there. She's going to have some new shoes on. If you're in the comments, what kind of shoes do y'all wear there? Are y'all shoe heads? Y'all wearing Jordans? Y'all buy any Jordans lately? Uh-oh. What kind of Jordans y'all wear? Can't see the chat. Okay. All right. All right. So this is what I do with this string here. The same that I did with this string, I leave a lot of room. Okay. So I usually cut this string. This is what I do here. On this string here, I usually take the string and cut it maybe almost at the top of the headstock. I'll say right here. Cut it. All right. And we're gonna wind her up. Now the G string is where you really have to make sure that you have enough room or enough string to cause tension. Okay. Um, if you have a bass that strings through the body, you really have to. If you have some basses that can string through the body, um, you really have to understand that you really have to have a longer string or an extra long string because um, you're stringing through the body. All right. So I gotta put this down here, and I'm gonna turn it because I already started twisting it. All right. So we're gonna see how this sound, y'all. How this bass sounds. If you're in the market, if you're in the market for a Player Plus, well, you about to get it. You about to hear how it sounds in a minute. All right. I'm just tuning this up right quick. Just making sure this is on. I've already changed the batteries, y'all, so I don't need to change the batteries. All right. So there we go. Here we go. Everything is on there. Brand new strings. Let me wipe her down right quick. I like having a clean bass, shiny bass. I'm very particular about that. People who really know me, they know I'm very particular about that. All right, wipe it down. Now, if you're wondering what this is called a fret wrap. I use this fret wrap. Some people don't use it. I know a very popular bass player that doesn't use it. He really doesn't like it. Um, Rod Stuckey, he really doesn't like these fret wraps. He thinks they're unnecessary. But that's his thing. I use them. If he's watching, by the way, if Stuckey's watching, by the way, and he comments, he can kick rocks. I don't need his opinion, but anyway, that's just an inside joke, y'all. We're gonna tune her up, man. We're gonna give her a tune up right quick, okay? So I got my little. I'm gonna grab my other phone here. All right. Grab my phone here. I got a tuner on my phone that I just use to for my business phone. All right. So I have a tuner app. It's called Panel Tuner, right? Let me show y'all. So this tuner right here, you can download the app. It's called a Panel Tuner, and you can have it right on your phone. So we're about to tune this bass up. Let me turn the amp on. I am playing through a Fender Rumble 800. Okay? Fender Rumble 800. So, I'm going to tune it up right quick. I tune a whole step down. It's almost there. There we go, D. All right, I'm tuning. So my top string, my lowest string is an A. My E string, I tune down to a D, and the the A string is tuned down to G. Andre Goucher tunes a whole set down. Some gospel bass players they tune in in B flat. Most of them tune in B flat. So my D string is going to go down to C. And the G string is going to be F. There we go. It's ready. It's ready. It's ready. Let me. Do something right quick. Oh, I know why. Okay. Okay, making sure. Think I might have to do a setup, y'all. Oh, I might not. Okay, getting there. Okay, let's see here. Making sure my amp is okay. Ready, it's ready, man. Yeah, I gotta do a setup. You hear that? So when you start hearing fret buzz like that, I gotta raise the string a little bit. Hold on, my tuner went away. Let me make sure it's tuned up because sometimes it can go out of tune still. See? Woo! It's ready to go. It's ready to go, y'all. Back pickup. It's ready to go. Front pickup. And look at this, y'all. Now, you just created a greater sound. What we just did, we just we just took care of the instrument, right? We wiped it down, we changed the strings on it, and it has new strings on it. I got to do a little setup on it. I'll do that later. Um, but other than that, this is what it takes. It's all it takes. It's all it takes. And the reason why this is so important, right? The reason why this is so essential is necessary because you want your strings to, and you want your sound to become better and consistent, right? By you taking the time out to change your strings. That's all it takes. And if even if you don't know how to do it, just taking it to someone to just taking it to someone to change the strings will help out. Um, and then look, here's the thing: if you get a bass like this, of this caliber, and you don't know how to take care of it, well, then how you gonna be? If you can't take care of the Fender Player Plus, what makes you think you can take care? Especially when you start to spend money on a bass of this cost, like Roscoe's and MTD's and Carl Less's and Ken Smith's and Sadowski's. I'm talking about all these name brand custom makers, right? Think about that. If you don't know how to take care of your Fender Player Plus, what makes you think you can take care of something at this value? Think about that. This is a this is not a production base. This is custom made. Actually, this is made here in North Carolina, in Greensboro by Keith Roscoe. All right, and I just talked to Keith Roscoe the other day, and he talks about, a lot of the times people will send their instruments, which this is going to go to him, and he calls it a spa day. Well, he'll take it and he'll change the preamp. He'll make sure the preamp is good. He'll check the preamp. He'll do a setup. He'll do a plec job on it. Why? Why is that important? Because longevity. Now, here's something that people don't know about basses. The older they are, the better they sound. Why? Because the wood has settled to where the sound has become mature, right? And the more mature the sound is, the better it sounds. This is why if you play a 1970s jazz bass or 60s jazz bass, it's going to sound different from a jazz bass, right? From a jazz bass that was just made last year. It's going to sound totally different. Why? Because the wood has matured and has been developed. The worst thing you can do is allow your instrument to sit somewhere and not be played. Our instrument is not there to make it look pretty. It's there to play, right? Oh, thank you, Jay. I appreciate it, man. Yes, man. It is an amazing bass. I'm telling you. I have one more I wanted to show y'all. All right, let me grab it. Now, this is a Eurobolt Spectre, right? This is one of my favorites. Okay, I got this from a good friend of mine. Um, a good friend of mine. Hey, how you doing, bass solos? Good to see you, man. Welcome to the channel. I got this bass, y'all. This thing is crazy. Matter of fact, I'm gonna plug it up for y'all. I'm gonna plug it up for you just right quick. This bass has. This is even though this is a Euro bolt, right? When I got this bass, my homie who had it, Alex Parrish, he customized this bass amazingly. Let me tell you why. The secret to this bass, and when you hear it, it's in the brass bridge. This is a USA custom brass bridge, right? There's a difference between aluminum bridge and a brass bridge. A brass bridge is going to give you a thicker bottom, and it's gonna be able to create a better tone, right? So this is not the stock preamp in here. This is y'all ready for this? Y'all ready for this? This is a tone monster in this bass. This thing is custom out. So let me tell you the specs on this thing. All right, this is an alder body. This thing weighs probably 8 pounds. It's an alder body. The wings are, I can't remember what the wings are. I got to look it up. If you look here, these are Gatto tuners, which he put on there. So this thing is specced out, man. I'm telling you. All right. So, this preamp is hot. So on this preamp here, this is a mid boost switch. Okay. This is a mid. Yeah. Bass solos. Yeah. Think about it. If you got a Spectre in the brass bridge, man, this thing is heavy. You're gonna see when I play it. All right. So this is a mid boost. All right. If anybody understand mid boost, a mid boost is basically gives you a different variations of tone with your mid range. Let me show you, right? So I got this bass here now, right? Turn the bass down. Now listen to the sound of it, right? Now listen, guess what? I have no mid range on there. Check this out. The mid range switch is for you to use it to where you don't have to. If you are way aggressive on your mid range, you could switch to. Now I'm in 200. I'm in 250, right? I'm gonna switch to 550. Watch this. Still got mid range. I'm gonna switch again. 800. So 800 is your lightest. Is your lightest mid range, right? 500 is like it's heavy, but it's not heavy. When you drop down to 250, watch this, y'all. I'm gonna show y'all something. You see how it jumped up? Check this out. See? So it's a difference, right? So when you are creating tone, you see how nice it sounds? Look, y'all, but check this out. So when you're playing it, look at the growl on it. I have no mid range on it. The mid is off. But I didn't even tell y'all the secret. I have a passive active tone knob right here. Right? So check this out. I can turn this tone knob, right? And watch, I'm gonna play it. I'm gonna keep turning it. Keep turning it. It's a 5-way tone knob. Now this is the lowest tone knob. So it almost sounds like a muffled bass. But I'm still in active. Crazy, right? So now I'm gonna turn it back to normal, to where it's open. All right? Look at that. And here's the thing. I have no mid range. Now watch when I put. See what I'm saying? This thing is crazy, bro. So, and the neck on it is 18 millimeter, right? It's not a thick neck. It's a 35-inch scale, right? But my whole point to this bass is that I made this custom, right? I will put this up against some of the custom basses, right? You can buy you, listen, y'all, and the preamp, this preamp I got in here, guess how much that preamp costs? You wanna, can anybody guess? I'm gonna say this. It's about $84, $85, maybe $100 shipping. Tone Monster, right? Preamp. And also, listen, y'all, I have an internal trim pot where I can turn up the gain in this bass. It's a monster. It sits well in the mix. My point is this: if you don't know your sound, if you don't understand what you have, you don't understand the quality of it, then you'll never know what you can get, right? Meaning, you don't always have to buy a custom bass. No, bro, no. Bass solos, listen, the Tone Monster preamp, you can get, listen, you can probably get one for like $80, bro, and it will smack in any bass. I've seen, I don't know if y'all follow Johnny Lee Long on YouTube. If you follow him, but he did, he had a custom, what was it? It was a custom, I think it was a custom, some type of custom bass he had. And he put a Tone Monster in there, and it woke it up. It was going crazy, bro. Tone Monster is listen, it's a well-versed preamp, and you can customize it how you want. Look, I'm telling you, I like this one right here. Right here, I got volume, blend. He calls that a five-way switch for passive tone, right? It's a tone knob. I got a mid boost switch. Then I can go active passive. Active passive. It's loaded for $80. 80, maybe $100. Right? I got bass mid, I got a bass and treble. It's a sleeper. Right? Yeah, John Lee Long. Yes. Yes, bro. Yes. Correct. Yes. And so my homie Alex, right? Alex Parrish, he sold this bass to me because he was getting another bass. And at first I was just like, man, I can't believe you're selling it. It's the best thing I've ever done, man. Listen, this is gonna say to me to I'm unalive anymore, right? I'm gonna keep this bass because I can really get up there with custom basses, right? If you follow my channel, I've had a lot of basses. I've had a bass mods, I've had a warrior, and let me tell you, man, bass mods are cool basses, great basses, right? Bass mods are amazing. Um, the MTDs, I had a killer MTD, man. They're good basses, the Kingston ones especially. But I'm gonna say this to y'all: if you're trying to get a custom MTD right now, you're gonna be waiting a while. I'm gonna just let y'all know. You're gonna be waiting a while. I think Federa and MTD is like a year and a half for weights. Yes, yes, sires. I've had, man. Listen, oh my gosh, sires are. I had the first V7 sire when they were like $350. Y'all remember those? They just reissued them out. The preamp on those sires are amazing. If you want a good, listen, I will put the Sire V7 up against the Ultra. I'm confident about that. You can take a Sire V7 and put it up against the Ultra. Yes, sir. Yes, bass solo. So you know what I'm talking about. Those, man, the Sire V7 is a killer bass, bro. For the price, yes, sir. Man, look. Have you got a chance to play the V8 yet? Man, bass solos, listen. Yeah, bro. Yes. So listen. I'm telling you, Marcus Miller is making a killing right now. He has built so many basses, bro. Listen, The V8 is crazy. The V10, and I think they call it the V12, bro. They crush, bro. I'm telling you. Listen, sires, preamps, and then they have where, and then the F10 that they just came out with, the F10 that they just came out with, that's like a Federa killer, bro. That thing is crazy. It's a boutique base, and it only costs like $1,500. It has more options than a custom Federa. Some people pay about $15,000 for a Federa, which I'm not hating on them about that, but I mean, 15,000? Yes. Yes, the necks are incredible. Did you know this bass solo too? Did you know this, right? That Sire, um, that they're gonna, but I believe in this near future, right? Um, they're gonna be having a custom made bases. I think they're gonna come out with custom made bases in the USA. I believe they're gonna start having custom bases. It's just a matter of time because Sire's killing it right now, man. They are a Fender. They're a Fender's competition right now. When it comes to straight jazz bass, single coil, a vintage sound, and I don't know if you noticed bass solo. Have you played the difference between when you get a V7? If you ever get a chance, play the vintage V7. The pickups are in the 60s instead of the 70s, right? That's what Marcus Miller plays actually. That sire that he plays is in the 60s. So it's a little bit more old school, and it's a little bit more bottom, it's a little bit more roundness, it's a little bit more punch. Man, if you get a chance, play a V7 vintage. Look them up. They're amazing. Um but yeah, bass solo, look, I tell anybody, if you can't afford a jazz bass, get a sire. It's 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 a get a sire. You will be good. You'll be good all the time. You can be a beginner and have a sire, and you can take that all the way through your career, and it'll still kill, bro. It'll still be maxing out, bro. Because the way that Marcus Miller designed the preamp is crazy. But I will tell you this though, y'all, and I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna talk about this right quick. When it comes to you getting a bass, also you got to look at like, and I'm gonna say this in a kind way, right? Yeah, 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 yeah. Bass solo, yeah. For $180. So you know what you can do with that bass solo, right? You can call Sire up if you want the original pickups, and they'll send them to you. I don't know if you know that. I don't know if you know that. You can call up Sire on bass solos, and you could call them up, and they can send you the pickups. Yeah, yeah. You can. And if you ever have a problem with the preamp, you can call them up, and they'll give you another preamp too. Their customer service is amazing. That's what most people don't know. And a lot of people, I don't know why people change. Some people like to change out the preamps because they don't like them or they don't understand them. But the thing about the Sire preamp is that you got a high mid and a low mid. Bro, you can get so much tone just within that mid range. And then you got a tone knob. So much tone comes from that bass. Man, you listen, bass. So I'm telling you, I've had a bass mods, I've had a Sire, I've had what else have I had? I've had a couple bass mods. Actually, I had three bass mods, a Warrior. But the 4 sires that I had, I've liked them. I've always liked them. Yeah, bro. Yes, sire preamps are amazing. Um, but I would say this, man. To know your sound, bro, to really know who you are, to really know what you want to do, you got to know who you are first in your sound. You got to know how to develop it. And I'm telling you, man, a lot of these younger kids on Instagram, bro, they showing up, bro. They don't have boutique bases. They got sires, they got Ibanez's, they got what else they playing? Yamahas, bro, and they are amazing, bro. They're showing up. That's because they know their tone, they know their sound, they know who they are, they know how to, they know what they have. So when they get their hands on a custom bass, it just icing on the cake. When you look at Matt Ramsey, I'm gonna talk about Matt Ramsey right quick. Matt Ramsey, most of his tone comes from his hands. The bass is the icing on the cake. If you ever hear him play live, he does he doesn't have a lot of pedals. He actually starts playing with pedals now, but he doesn't have a lot of pedals. He plays basically his tone comes from his hands. And so I'm done. I'm done, y'all. Listen, I'm not gonna be here too long. Thanks for showing up, man. Thanks for y'all coming out. And you know, I just want to say, man, keep your strings changed, keep your batteries changed. Your bass will last a long time. If you need a listen, I'm gonna say this too. Also, there are two types. There's two times that you need a setup each year. Oh, okay, bro. Yeah, definitely. I follow you. Yeah. Okay, you live stream daily. All right, got you, bro. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I'll definitely make sure I'll chime in. Maybe we should collaborate on certain things, bro. You know what I'm saying? We should collaborate. So one thing you got to understand, right? And I'm gonna end with this, right? You changing your strings consistently keeps your sound professional, and it keeps you getting hired. All right. You changing your strings, you taking care of your instrument, gives you a consistent sound to where you're gonna keep getting hired. You may not be the best playing, but because your sound is good and because you maintain your instrument, people could depend that they don't have to work hard for them to develop a sound because you've already done it, right? So take the time out to take care of your bass, man. Take the time out. If there's two times that you need a setup, you need one in the summer and you need one in the winter. I'm gonna tell you why. Because in the summer, wood expands. It sweats, so it expands. So when your neck starts getting out of shape, you need to get a setup. When the winter comes, it starts to shrink. Wood shrinks, so your neck is gonna bend. You always want to make sure that you take care of your bass by getting a setup, changing the strings, changing the battery, and you can level up your playing. Listen, you don't have to be the best to be the best. All right, your sound is your sound. So, man, listen, I appreciate y'all showing up tonight. I'm going to end there. Good to get to see you all. If you're watching the replay, can you please, hey man, listen, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. We're gonna be doing more of these. We're gonna have conversations. I'm gonna collab with some of the YouTubers who are their bass players. We might have a great live to where we can discuss what they're playing, and and how they feel about the music industry and all these things. So I'm really looking forward to meeting you all again. I'm gonna do one probably. I'm gonna do another one probably maybe within 2 weeks. I have to see how my schedule looks. But everyone, thank you so much for coming out, and I'll check y'all out soon.